The RovyVon GL4 Pro. Let's check it out. Now guys, when it comes to weapons lights, there's a lot of choices, a lot of different companies. One of the things about the RovyVon GL4 is that it has a number of different settings. Now you have your white light, you have your laser, green laser. Then you have your light and laser. But then you have your IR light, you have your IR laser, and you have IR light and laser. So there are 6 different settings on this light. And man, it just looks cool. And you can also get the optional pressure pad switch. It's very minimal. So guys, we're gonna take this out. We're gonna test it out because cool is cool, but does it work? And this is really for a IR light and IR laser. The price is really reasonable. So we want to give a big thank you to RovyVon for sending the GL4 Pro for this review. And we're really looking forward to getting this out and testing it out. All right, guys, we're looking at the RovyVon GL4. This is their Pro model. They do make a number of different white light, RI lights. They also make a lot of EDC lights. And honestly, what drew my attention was just the design of this light. It is excellent. I mean, they really put a lot of work in making this really look very quality. Now, one of the things about RovyVon is the price is really considerably less than most of your IR options. And this has white light, it has a green laser, then it has IR light and an IR laser. So it's a 4-in-1 rail-mounted light. Now, this can go on your rifle. We're going to look at it on a handgun if you're doing some kind of night vision training, if you have a PVS-14, and you want to put something on your handgun, this does fit, and we're going to look and compare it to some other options. And this has the new updated rail, and we'll look at that as well. Now this has the screw mount. You can get it with a lever mount, and this just has a connects to your Picatinny rail. You have different areas where you can put the slot and set it to your rifle or your pistol, however you want to. It's more important for a pistol, but it gives you a little bit of adjustment there. Also, we have a pressure pad adapter here under this little cover. And then we have the toggles here at the back, and they go back up and down. Now, before we get started, here is your modes, and 0 is off. You go to 1, and this gives you light. And that's just standard white light. And it has a nice hot spot. It's 400 lumens, but it really goes a distance. And so next we're going to take and go to the next setting, and this gives you just a green laser, a very intense green laser. And then we're going to go to the 3rd setting, which gives you light and laser. As you can see, we can line that up. Now, one thing about this laser is that it does have the IR laser and it slaves to the green laser. So if you start adjusting, and here's your adjustment knobs here and here, they're nice and large, great for maybe a coin or the case of a bullet. You can turn these. And it gives you the directions either way. Also, we have a whole list of the numbers of where you turn this. Now with the mode settings, you can pull this little lever out and it allows you to turn it even with gloved hands. The next setting is number 5, and we're going to cut on our IR. So now we're on IR. Now I'm going to cut IR off, and you can't see anything. So this definitely shows the green. And again, we've got other settings as well. So we're going to go to the next setting, which is your IR laser. Now here we can see it, IR laser. We're going to turn the infrared off. And now you can't even see the laser. Next, we're going to go to number 7, and that gives you just light. We have light and laser with IR. Then we have just laser, and then just light. And again, 400 lumens. Now the IR laser is 850 mN, and that gives you 0.07 milliwatts. It's a class 1 laser. When we go to the green laser, we have 520 mN, and this is a visible green laser. And it's a 5 milliwatt class 3R laser. And here we have the laser where it's visible. And guys, we're going to show this outside, but this laser is really intense. Now this is a civilian laser. If you're in law enforcement, you can get the upgraded laser because they do have limits. And then we're going to turn it back to 0. Just drop down our lever, and so it makes it really close to the body. We have a 7075 T6 aluminum body, has a hard anodized finish. Guys, it just has a great look to it. I mean, it really looks like a professional piece of equipment. Now, right here is your lens for your light, and it's also your battery cap. That gives you the direction of the battery, and it's a CR123. You can use one of the lithium-ion 16340s, and that way you have a rechargeable option. But here you can see, just turn this to either lock, and then when you go to unlock. And we're going to open this up. Now this is IPX8, so it's sealed, and this means it's waterproof, 2 meters for 30 minutes. And then here we have our battery. So it just slips in, and then you can put your cap back on. And of course, you start out with the unlock, and then you just go to lock, and it locks it in. And it's crenulated, so it's easy to be able to take off. It just has some pressure because of the rubber gasket that just kind of holds that into place. Here are your lasers, and you have your IR laser, and then we have our green laser. And again, these are slaved to the system. So when you turn it, it turns both lasers. The toggles are easy to manipulate. One thing I do want to show you is that when we have this on, of course that's constant on when you hit the toggle. If you press the toggle, it's momentary on. So all you have to do is just press forward and you have momentary on. And then as soon as you release, it comes off. So you've got 2 different options. I think that's a pretty cool way just to turn that on very momentary. Now it's 3 inches in length. It's about 1 3/4 inches in width, and in height completely it's 1.5 inches. So it's not like your standard light, but obviously you have a lot more capability. And guys, here it is mounted on a Picatinny rail, and we've got it on the side mount, and we have our pressure pad switch. This is additional, but it does just fit right into the system, and it locks in. So we can use our toggles on the side. And here we have light and laser. This is visible, but we can go just from the off position, hit the button, and it's really small on your rail. And I really like that. I mean, it's definitely a little bit of a different color. It does come also in this color. I'm sure they have black options as well. But this just easily fits your Picatinny rail. This does too. And of course, you can adjust your rails wherever you want to. But we had a lot of fun taking this out to the range. And we're going to go through a lot of the demonstration of how the light performs at 20 yards, at 50 yards, and 100 yards as far as the light intensity. And of course, we had an infrared camera, so we were able to capture a lot of IR footage as well, which can be difficult to get, especially through a PVS 14. Now we wanted to take it first out to the range, just do some daylight shooting, mainly to check the mount, make sure that the setup was good, the pressure pad switch was working, how the light performed, even the laser, which the laser was pretty impressive, even during the daylight. We wanted to get the recoil from the 5.56, which is not excessive. We didn't really test some larger calibers, but the mount held up great. Everything was solid, it retained its 0, and we put quite a few rounds through it to test and really felt pretty good about the whole setup. So then we went to night shooting, and we wanted again to get the feel for the rifle, see how it performs. We were using one of the Tipman 22s, and we had a suppressor on it. We just wanted to kind of keep the noise down at night. The 400 lumens white light, it really showed up well. It's got that hot spot. It gives you just a lot to be able to focus in on. And then, of course, the laser, again, it's really intense. And then we went to IR. Now, IR is really the big deal, and we wanted to see how it performed. And obviously, you know, I was wearing a PBS 14 on a helmet, just getting some ideas of shooting it through the scope, without the scope, and of course with IR and the laser, you can shoot it and just point the laser once you get it sighted in. Here we have it on with the standard light. You can see the dummy out there. It's about 20 yards off. And so with the IR, you're getting that light, you're picking it up as well. But here with the standard eyesight, you can see the dummy. Now we're going to switch it to just laser. So here we have the laser. This is just a green laser. You can see it on camera. And of course it's visible and it's great, but even the IR should be able to pick that up. And then we're going to go to light and laser, and this just goes clockwise as you're turning this dial. And so here we have light and laser. Now let's go to IR. Now guys, I'm going to use my PBS 14 to be able to see the IR, because otherwise I can't see it. This is going to be light and laser. So there, the laser is hitting the dummy, and we have the light. We're going to turn it one more time, and this is just laser. And then the last setting is just IR light. And so we're getting that IR. One of the beautiful things about the laser, as far as night fighting, as far as the PBS 14, is that I don't have to look at my sights if I have the laser lined up with my scope. And that's the beautiful thing. I can actually lift my head up. I could even shoot it from the hip. So it gives you a lot of flexibility with a laser that you're not going to get with just the IR and looking through the scope. So this gives you 6 different options to be able to use. And that's the beautiful thing about having IR and white light, especially if you're using any kind of night vision. Guys, the big thing is you may not have a PBS 14, but you may have just a monocular. If you have a firearm and you have some kind of monocular or some way to mount a night vision scope to your rifle, you're going to have that extra capability. Again, night vision is a superpower. The one thing always to remember is that even with night vision on, you can see standard white light. You can see the light from the naked eye. You can see that on IR. So that also gives you 2 different capabilities having night vision. All right, guys, we're at 50 yards. We have light, and this is just the light. It's regular visible light. Now we're going to go to the laser. We can see the laser down there. It's a pretty intense laser. Next, we're going to light and laser. So it's a good area. I mean, you can really see that laser very well. Now we're going to IR, and this is IR light and laser. You're not really able to pick up the laser that well on the camera, but you could with the PBS 14. Then we're going to just laser. Okay, here we are at just laser. We're able to hit the target. We can see that laser pretty well, even when it hits that light area out there, but you can see it in the foreground. Next, we're going to just light. I mean, that's 50 yards with IR light. With visible light, you see nothing. With the night vision, you can definitely see the IR. All right, guys, this is at 100 yards, and we have light. We've got the target showing up very well. I'm standing here with the naked eye. I can see that extremely well. On the camera, I'm not sure if we're getting that and we're picking it up. Next, we're going to go to just the laser, and this is the green laser. It's picking it up very well. You can see how intense that is. Now the light and laser. And here we are right on the dummy. I mean, I can see that with the naked eye. Now we're going to IR. There is a space in between IR and white light. So here we have light and laser. Here we have just the laser, and you can see it down there at the bottom. It's blinded out a little bit because of that light, but I can still see it pretty good. Next, we're going to just light. And again, that's at 100 yards. This will do much greater than that. So I'm just really impressed. And then it just shuts off. Now, as far as size options, especially for maybe a handgun, this is larger. Definitely larger than your Streamlight. And this is the TLR1 HL. We have our Surefire, the X300 Ultra. And then we have just a Baldor Pro from Olight. And fairly larger light setups. but definitely with the capability that you're going to get with the RovyVon, it's going to be a little bit large for a handgun, but again, this is really dedicated for night vision rifle. Here we have a Bull Armory EDC. It's a 2011 style handgun, and you can see it does hang off, but we've done a lot of training with night vision. If you have a dedicated laser that's IR and a light, and you're using nods, I mean, this makes it great for your handgun option because it is a fairly small setup compared to some. But for EDC use, this is a fairly large light. Now, I typically use one of the Steiner D-Ball, and this is one of the D2s. This is an incredible IR light, IR laser, but it's huge. Now, this will really get some distance out, and these also run about $1,900. So they're not cheap, and we have all of our toggle switches here to be able to hit whatever we want to. This is honestly limited compared to the GL4 Pro because we do have white light and green laser, and the price is coming in at around $299. And that is a really big deal. I've been doing a lot of research on different IR light setups, and Holosun offers a number of different reasonable options, but most of them are IR only. And so the Holosun that has white light and green laser and the IR runs about $1,000. And then Surefire has a number of things as well. Most of them are just IR lights, and they run considerably more than the RovyVon. So guys, you're getting into an IR setup with a budget price. And while this is not necessarily battle proven, it's not like the Steiner or a lot of the others. This definitely fits very well for most applications, especially if you're like me and you like to get out with your night vision. You set it up for a home defense package, but this really makes a great option. It's small, it's light, it's handy, and it really gets the light out there. Yes, it's 400 lumens. There's definitely lights that have higher lumen output, but with the hotspot, it really gets some distance out there, even with those lumens. I'd really like to test this against the Holosun because it would be more of a direct comparison. But most of what we're seeing is the IR only, and this gives you benefits from both IR and white light. So guys, again, it's $299 on the RovyVon website, and that's the GL4 Pro. It's a very reasonable light. So far, we have had a lot of great testing with it. It's really performed very well. And for the money, really, it's going to be impossible to beat. It's one of those things that gives you that capability of IR without breaking the bank. And guys, as you know, the IR lights are very expensive. Or you can go with the D-Balled and you can spend $1,900. You do get a green laser with this, but no light. And so this, and plus it's pretty large, but this is built like a tank. This is military grade and the price reflects it. But if you're like me, you like to get out at night and just have some fun with night vision and use this as a home defense option. To me, this is just a great way to go. It gives you a 4-in-1 light and really for a fairly small package. Again, they do make a number of different lights. They have some upgraded models as well with more intense lasers. And of course, they have a lot of other lights. So check out RovyVon. This is the first time that I've had any experience with RovyVon. And to be honest, just the fit, the finish is just absolutely top notch. The design, and then with all the options, I mean, this makes a great night vision setup. So guys, the RovyVon GL4 Pro, it gives you a lot of options. And again, there are a number of different lights that they do offer, some with or without the IR. But if you have night vision and you want to go with IR, this makes a great choice. There are some more expensive, more well-known names out there, but it's really great to have choices, and it's great to see RovyVon coming in, not only with your standard conventional light, but also with your IR, especially for us LARPers. We love to have a lot of options. And again, a huge thank you to RovyVon for sending the GL4 Pro for this review. This is honestly a very cool looking light, and it performs. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. So guys, again, it runs $299 on the RovyVon. Okay. So guys, again, it's $299 on the RovyVon, but then you have UV. No, you don't have white light or green laser. And so this makes, well, do you? I think you do actually have green laser. The RovyVon GL4 Pro. The RovyVon Wade. Oh, RovyVon Kenobi, you're our only hope. White light, green laser. Is that right? Yeah, green laser. Okay.